Hey guys, so this is kind of going to be like a vlog. I guess you could say I'm just going to talk about random subjects here. Um, the law with the Los Angeles and vapors and all that BS, that's way BS, guys. If you want to look more into it, you guys could read up on it, but something has to be done, definitely about that. Rather than that, what I've been seeing a lot of is people have been building these dual type coils, not quite necessarily this setup, but dual coils, and they say I'm gonna cloud chase. All right. Now with the dual coil setup, if you have everything just right, your wicking, your airflow, and all that, if you have it just right, you should produce an immense amount of vapor. Okay. Something like this, I have it set up just right, so I could literally, on a full charge battery, literally just so that it's going to produce an immense amount of vapor. And if you take an actual hit off it, you'll produce what they say clouds. Okay. Now I'm running a 0.25 ohm coil. But if you have a 0.25 to anywhere from 0.5 ohm, the kind of vapor production should be like what you saw. Okay, so it's going to look kind of like this. Just taking short draws. You should get at the minimum that, okay? If you're not getting it, it means that either your coils aren't set up right, you have a hot spot, you're not wicking right? That's a huge problem. You see my other videos, the wick, it works with the coil, guys. So no matter how good of a coil is built, if you put a junky wick in there, junky setup wick, it's not going to vape correctly. And it's the airflow. The third is the airflow. Without the airflow, it doesn't matter how good the coil is. Like if I did this and I blocked off, let's just say I'm going to twist this, and I blocked off, let's say 90% of this airflow. Now, okay, compared to a full airflow, you know, your airflow is important. How it flows, make sure there's no wick blocking that airflow. That's another big thing. If there's a wick blocking your airflow, so if like your air channel is here, and this is kind of important on the Omegas because it's like you can't adjust it in any way, right? It's the airflow is built into the bottom cap. So if you have a wick covering that airflow and then the hole is right here, then what happens when you suck in? The wind will come from here, the air will come from here and go straight up. Okay, it won't go through your coils. Now, the reason why airflow is important is because these coils are going to run really hot, you want that airflow to cool down the coils as much as it can, so you can take a good draw, it's a nice clean hit, and you don't get that burnt flavor. Okay, even like this, when you see it, when you just snap it, you don't see that much vapor production, but when you blow on it now, you see the vapor production just kind of goes all nuts. So again, airflow is incredibly important. I just seen a video out there where a guy built dual 3-wrap, 3-wrap, 28 kg Canthal coil on, I believe it was cotton, and he said he's gonna blow clouds, and there was a whole mess of people saying that that gave him thumbs down. They're like, and one guy commented, why is everyone giving this guy a thumbs down? Now I don't give thumbs down, guys. So I never do. I always give thumbs up. So I replied to him, it's most likely because something in his setup is wrong, and he's not producing the vapor that he's supposed to on that setup. Okay. Now, VG produces thicker clouds, but even if you have a heavy PG, it's still gonna blow clouds, guys. Don't think just because it's the 70 PG, 30 VG, it's not gonna produce that much vapor. No, It's not the case. You're not going to produce as thick of a vapor, but you will still produce a crazy amount of vapor. For example, here, let me just try this. This is a 65 VG, 35 PG mix, so it is thicker clouds, but I will bring something. That is heavy. Okay, so this juice is very heavy PG, 70 PG, 30 VG, and this thing will still produce an immense amount of vapor. That's not it, guys. This is still the 65 VG. Let me just try off this coil. This is what I normally vape on. There's 3 neck. There we go. Now I start to taste the dry head. It's pretty dry now. There we go. Became harsh. Now it's pure white. As you can see, I'm going to put the 70 PG, 30 VG juice in here. And it'll still produce a buttload of vapor. Okay. It's just a much lighter vapor. But what I noticed is, even with a lighter vapor, I fog up the room faster than a heavier VG. So the vapor production is still there, guys. PG still produces vapor. Just the propylene glycol produces a lighter vapor. Okay? Whew. This is a lot easier to vape because it's 0, but don't think because it's heavier PG and lower VG that it's not going to blow clouds. You'll still blow clouds, guys, just to clear that up. Another thing that I've seen a lot of is people asking questions that can I run a setup like this on a cool fire, per se, right? A cool fire is regulated to 8.5 watts. Yes, you can. Most likely, if it fires, you can. But just say you had a 0.35 ohm coil, and then you're running on a cool fire, 8.5 watts, you're pushing 1.72 volts. 1.72 volts. You're pushing about the same amount of voltage as one AA battery. So, how much vapor are you going to produce? Pretty much bare minimum. Okay, and this is why I'm telling you kind of when it's voltage versus wattage. When I'm going to go sub-ohm, guys, I like to put it on voltage because I can maximize the power. Anything past 2.4 ohms, I like to put on wattage because then it'll up the voltage more. The DNA devices really shine when it comes to 1.2 ohms and higher. It does because 30 watts may seem like a lot of power, but on this setup right here on a full charge battery, I'm pushing close to 150 watts. Okay, on a non-regulated mechanical mod. So what's that saying? Mechanical mods are still there. People are still buying them. People are still vaping them. I'm still vaping them for a reason. For a reason, it's because you're basically getting the max potential of what the battery can output. Right? As far as regulated mods, you can't output more than the max potential of what a battery can output. You can up the voltage, definitely, but I mean, it's only so much the battery could do, right? Because the battery is the main power source. So even if you up the voltage, Um, there's amp limits on regulated mods, and there's a reason why there's amp limits. You know, on the DND device, the lower you go as far as the resistance goes, the 30 watts becomes less significant. The higher ohms you go, the 30 watts become more significant. So for those of you that have the question, can I run RDAs on, I guess you could say, the China-made APBs? Of course you can. I've been doing it. I've been wrapping micro 1.4 ohm coils. Micro coils at 1.4 ohms, and I've been vaping it on the China-made variable voltage, variable wattage mods, and they work perfectly fine, exactly the way I wanted to. Are you going to get the same vapor production as one of these setups? No, you're not. Are you going to be able to blow clouds where people will notice you? Yes, you will. It's going to be way more than any of the tanks could produce. Even this Aspire Nautilus, probably one of my favorite tank systems, will in no way produce as much as an RDA will. Wow, that kind of looks crappy. It's up the voltage there. There you go. So I'm starting to get a gurgle. Maybe go on a... Even then, it's in no way as much vapor as an RDA could produce on that same mod. I wish I had an RDA that was wrapped right now with my microcoil, but I kind of got rid of everything. I came out with a new coil. I guess I'm calling it a hotspot coil, but all it is I set up the coil to make it look like a heating coil. Let's see if I can find it. This is at 0.6 ohms. And there goes my voltmeter. At 0.6 ohms, let me show you the coil and I'll take a quick vape on it, I guess. And because it is at 0.6 ohms, there is still a lot of room for improvement, but it's such an annoying coil to make that I'm not going to make another one at the lower ohm. So if you look at that coil, it's kind of squiggly like a heating unit. What I did was I twisted the end of a canthal, and then in the middle of the canthal it was just regular 28 gauge, and I manipulated it to a wavy form like a heating coil would do. And basically it's like a seat warmer kind of coil. I have a video on it on how to make it. It does pretty good for what it is. I'm pretty sure I could improve this quite a bit, but this Nimbus has nowhere near the airflow that I want it to have. It's already dry. Like I said, if I had better airflow, I could cool down that coil much faster. It doesn't take much to cool down just a single 28 gauge canthal wire, but I even drilled this out already, and it's still not enough airflow. This is kind of what I used. This RDA is what I used for that microcoil, and I was vaping on these APBs, just variable voltage, variable wattage. The reason why I'm pumping it is because I don't want that coil to get to its full potential heat level, because it will burn the wick. I don't have enough airflow to cool down those coils, and I notice it vapes much better if I just pulse it. What else do I have to say? Do mods make a difference? Yes, they do. What mod you have will depend on your voltage drop, I guess. It's hard to calculate voltage drop because it depends on what ohm resistance wire you have in there. It'll drop more voltage or less voltage depending. With that 0.25 ohm coil, I drop from 4.2 to 3.6, so that's an immense amount of drop. But then again, I am pushing 0.25 ohms. I'm drawing a lot more power out of those batteries. It really varies. It varies from mod to mod, but you'll notice that when you vape it, with something like this, and this is the Nemesis clone, I get almost no voltage drop on this, just off the mod itself, and it's great. I've been loving this. The only thing is it's not beginner friendly. Okay, this Nemesis is not a beginner friendly mod to use. Why is that? Because when you replace the battery on this thing, or even the atomizer, once you pop this middle atomizer out, you hear that battery rattle, okay? When you put an atomizer on here, snap one on there real quick, you kind of want it to sit flush, right? So this one kind of is lifted, but let's screw it in there tight. The battery rattle's still there. You could mess with the bottom switch to tighten that up. No more battery rattle. Whenever you take off the atomizer, okay, your center post pin is going to change, okay? It's not like I put Loctite in here, because then it's going to just, you know, I want that center post to be going up and down. I might put some, there's nothing I can put. I can't put Teflon tape on there, right? Because when you keep moving it, Teflon tape is just going to disintegrate, and it's not going to conduct good electricity. Although you don't need it for a center post. But I don't know, maybe I might wrap it around with like one coat of Teflon. But it's not a beginner-friendly device because you really got to know what's going on in mechanical mod. So yes, it does make a difference. What I notice is a very friendly beginner device is a Smoke-Tech Magneto. Those mods are pretty much kind of you know, it's simple. You just screw it down until it's tight and you're done. There's really not much to think about on those. And although there is a little bit more voltage drop, we'll say in a 1 ohm perspective, it drops to like 3.9 volts-ish, whereas something like this will stick at 4.02, which is a much, much better result. It's pretty much up there with all the more expensive contenders. And I'm going to keep vaping, guys, because I do still need that Nick buzz, so... As I go through this video, it's going to be kind of long. You can just not watch it if you want. This is just me just babbling about some of the questions I saw on YouTube. What was I talking about? The Smoke-Tech Magneto and this Nemesis. What I noticed is anything at 1 ohm, if you're only dropping to 4.0 anything, 4.01 to 4.09, you're pretty much up there with the best of the best, okay guys? So you're not going to get any better, really, off a mechanical mod if you're in that range. Okay, the Smoke-Tech Magneto is still up there. It's still at the 3.9 volt-ish, right? And 0.1 volts off of something that's amazing. But for the price, you really can't beat it. For those beginner vapors out there, they vape great. Just for example, I have one right here. And I'll go ahead and take a vape with the exact same setup. And the reason why I say this is a no-brainer, I'll kind of show it to you right now. Okay. Once you have the center post, and these threads are freaking smooth, except for that center post. But once you have this taken apart, okay? I'm going to take this Nemesis apart to take out the battery. That's how I do it. It's kind of how I take the Nemesis apart. There's other ways, of course, but okay. Go ahead and put that battery in, put that top cap in. And the reason why I say it's a no-brainer is once you have that top cap screwed in enough where the threads are covered, go ahead and screw in that center post. Right, and you just screw it until it tightens, guys. Right, until it tightens. You get no battery rattle. The switch is freaking immaculate. They're magnetic. So they're magnetic switches. It feels great, okay? When you get it, You have to clean it. It's gunked up with oil in there, but once what I did was I took it out, I cleaned it all off, I polished it. What did I polish it with? Some semi-chrome and my Dremel. Okay, polished it right up, and this switch just became freaking buttery smooth. It's immense. So the switch is awesome, and how it vapes. Although there's a little bit more voltage drop, it's not going to make a difference in your daily vaping. No, not enough for you to go, oh, it's not worth it. In no way does it vape any less than what Nemesis does. Okay, so my recommendation to those of you that are still like kind of new to mechanical mods, and you want kind of something that you don't have to worry too much about, get the Smoke Tech Magneto. It's still, for the price, the bang for your buck. It's freaking awesome. There's no fidget work you have to think about. It just works, guys. And it hits hard. It hits hard. You know, it's not going to be like the King mod. I have a review of the King mod, and it's junk. Okay, and this is the authentic King mod, not the clones. The authentic King mod, it runs about $280 some odd plus tax. I've had that, and the 4.2 volt fully charged battery, it just hit like a battery that was like kind of the end of its life. So. So again, mods do matter, but when you anything 3.8 at 1 ohm load, 3.9 to 4.0 whatever, that's kind of the best of the best you get there. You know, as far as voltage drop goes. Now I really love magnetic switches. They're just it's more firm, but I could put this on a table unlocked, and it's not gonna fire in any way, no matter how heavy of a addy I put on there. But as far as the Nemesis, the spring one, it is very easy to press, and it does fire when you do put it unlocked on a table. So I went and purchased magnets for it. It hasn't come yet, and you could kind of buy everything I talked to you about at pretty affordable prices on a website, www.soseliquid.com. So it's SOSELIQUID.com. The site is currently not operational at the moment, but it should be up and going in about a week. You could probably pick up a Magneto there for like, I don't know, $30, $35. Can't beat that. Again, the Nemesis clone, pick that up at that website, www.soseliquid.com, for like $30, $35-ish, you know. When I make another video, I'll go and tell you if it's up and running. But again, great little mods right here. These two. I wish I had other mods to show you. They're currently all put away, and I'll make other video reviews on those other mods. Okay. Other questions. Stacking. Is stacking safe? It is. It's perfectly safe. We stack batteries all the freaking time. If you have a flashlight where 2 batteries go in stacked, you're stacking a battery. It is perfectly safe. Now, can it be potentially dangerous? Yes, it can. Okay. When you're stacking hydrate batteries, IMR batteries, unprotected hydrate batteries, the reason why it becomes unsafe is because you're doubling the voltage. Okay, so now you're able to draw so much more power out of those batteries, and you have to take into consideration the max discharge amperage, okay? The continuous amperage, okay? Always go continuous. There is a max, completely max draw, like it's going to be much higher amp, but the max continuous amperage drawing, right? Not charging, drawing. Or the C rating, where you can calculate both from the C rating, but it's a little bit more difficult to calculate. All you do is divide the milliamp hours by 1,000 multiplied by the C rating and get your continuous amp draw. When people stack batteries and they don't know about this battery safety, that's when it gets dangerous. That's when you can start overheating your batteries. You can start melting the covers on them. You can start making a battery vent. As far as a single IMR battery, I've seen many people short them and they haven't vented. Right? They just melted in the outside. But it is possible to vent a single battery. But when you stack a battery to up the voltage, I guarantee you can make one of those batteries vent pretty easily. Alright, so that's the kind of only issue. When you're stacking in a series connection, which is how most people stack, you don't double the milliamp hours or the amperage limit draw, the amperage draw limit. All you're doing is doubling the voltage. When you parallel them, then you do double the amperage limit drawing power, and you do double the milliamp hours. Okay, the voltage stays the same though. Okay, so you connect 10 batteries in a parallel connection, your voltage will still be 4.2. Okay, at a full charge. So when you stack them though, if you stack 10 of them, then voltage becomes 42 volts. 42 volts. But in a full charge, but there's an amp limit, right? And stacking those batteries in a series connection, even 10 of them in a row, is not going to up the amperage limit. So you could hit 30 amp draw on a 42 watt system. It's incredibly easy to do, especially when it comes to vaporizers and stuff like that. So be very careful as far as that goes. I'm going to be stacking in a series connection just because I'm working on this little chip here. I did weld the power ins in so far, but I'm going to work on another one of these build-it-yourself mods, except this one will be variable voltage. So hopefully when I kind of figure out what I want to do with it, then I'll make another long video, a step-by-step video where you guys can make your stuff at home. You can purchase these chips, again, same at SOSELIQUID.com. When the site is up and running, all the mods that are made by me will be for sale there, I guess you could say. That's kind of all I have to say for today. It's just me babbling on, guys. If you have more questions about kind of the overall vaping needs, please give me an email if you have my email. If you don't, just message me. I'll send you my email, and then we can go back and forth on it. Or just leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you. As far as general questions about vaping, for you, those of you that are new out there, or still vaping those little pen batteries, and you've wanted to upgrade for a while, you're wondering what's the next step you could go, and you're not the type to blow clouds, okay? Depends on your budget, what you're going to use it for. Do you still want the simplicity of kind of those batteries? Then there you go. An e-cig twist will kind of, this is like the freaking cornerstone of what happened with e-cigarettes, okay? Variable voltage, freaking battery, guys. So if that's kind of like, if you want to go future-proof yourself in a way, then go ahead and get yourself one of these Vamo V5s. This Vamo is actually hitting the end of its life. But you can see the vapor production difference is massive. You'll get the same vapor production off that e-cig twist, but then now you kind of have more options as far as when you go with this. Okay, So you kind of see the vapor difference. I'm going to show you back to back to back the vapor differences, I guess. Kind of load everything up here. I'll do that with this. Okay, so when you first get into e-cigarettes and you're kind of quitting, you might have gone with these. Okay, if you look at the vapor difference. Now, some of you might be totally fine with this, okay? It wasn't for me. So even when I had this, I did not quit smoking, but it's kind of the vapor of a cigarette. Right? You want to step up from there? One of these suckers. And these suckers will have the same kind of vape as this thing right there. But wow, such a huge difference, right? So like I said, this Ego Twist is a huge upgrade from those stick batteries. Ooh, it's good. And what I'm vaping, guys, I'm vaping Omega Fruit. Okay, that's what I've been dedicating myself to vaping. It's actually so good that it's all I really need to vape. Now we go to here. It's going to be pretty much identical vapor production as that Ego C-Twist. But you are future-proofing yourself a little bit because this does go up to 6 volts, and it does have 18650 or 18350 batteries, which is what you're going to use in mechanical mod. Okay, so this might be the next step for you, depending on what your situation is. Delicious. Now, if you're not the mouth-to-lung kind of inhaler, or you want to just kind of go up straight past all that and just go shooting off and blowing clouds, okay, the same e-juice on everything you just saw, okay? Okay. So that was, what was I doing? I had one hole completely blocked. I was wondering why the airflow was so tight. Usually I vape with both air holes wide open. It is a dual coil. 어?
개똥 싼 것 좀 봐봐. 지렁이 있는데. 난 도저히 못 보겠어.
Again, the vapor production is massively different. So thanks for watching. If you have questions, like I said, just PM me. Try to get back to you. Leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you on that. All right. Have a good one.